Unites anti-Zionists across the world. Watch this space. And from American Muslims for Palestine, this is Dr. Mustafa Swaby.
And I'm sure there's a lot more to say on that. One misconception that people have when they hear the term is that they think of it as just one small structure. So when we say Al-Aqsa, we're referring to the whole area. That's why you talked about Qibla Mosque, you talked about the Dome of the Rock, Qubbat al-Sakhra, and all of its surroundings and environs. So it encompasses that whole entire space. And that's really a misconception, yeah.
It's a misconception. It's not one structure. It's not one building. It's not the Qibli. Definitely not. And I see from the many people, or of course, either they are ignorant or deliberately they try to say that it's the Qibli. I need to say two things. Now, UNESCO, which is part of the UN, the United Nations, adopted the Al-Aqsa Mosque / Al-Haram al-Sharif to make sure that we speak about the whole area, every single thing within the parameters of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. But this reminds me of Lieberman when he was the Israeli foreign minister. He sent an A4 to the foreign embassies in Tel Aviv, defining what Al-Aqsa Mosque is. He said that it's only the southernmost building, the Qibli, which is really erroneous. This is why I started with Mujir Hanbali. 500 years ago, there were no Zionists. There was no Zionist project. There was no Israel. There was no. So when Mujir Hanbali spoke about Al-Aqsa Mosque being the whole thing, measuring it twice for verification, the length and the width, specifying from where to where, he was not responding to any claims by anyone else.
No, that's definitely a very important point to mention. Now, there is a mechanism in place for how to maintain Al-Aqsa, and there are rules involved. So we hear a lot about the Islamic Waqf,
yes,
and what is known as the status quo arrangement. So what does this really entail? What are the ins and outs of this arrangement, and what is the Islamic Waqf?
Okay. The Islamic Waqf, okay, the word Waqf, it is in itself, it's basically the endowment. And Muslims have been endowing from the time of the Prophet ﷺ. There were endowments. And of course, historically, they became so many that you needed a body to take care of them. And from the, of course, before the 1967, Jerusalem was, of course, part of and parcel of the Jordanian, so the Ministry of Waqf, the Jordanian Ministry of Waqf, took care of the Waqf in Jerusalem, Al-Aqsa Mosque, and everything else. And the Hashemites, for more than a century, beginning with the Sharif Hussein, began the taking care of the holy places in Jerusalem, especially the Al-Aqsa Mosque. But officially, and it is recognized all over the world today, that His Majesty King Abdullah II is the custodian of the holy places, the Muslim and Christian holy places in Jerusalem. And this is very important so that people would know, people should know, in fact, that His Majesty financed really renovation of the Sepulchre Church also. So they do support the Waqf, but the Department of Waqf in Jerusalem, the administration, is part and parcel of the Ministry of the Jordanian Waqf until today. And it has about 1,000 employees. One might ask the question, why 1,000 employees? Why do you need 1,000? In fact, we might need more. We have clinics to run. So, for example, during Ramadan, even our 2 clinics at Al-Aqsa Mosque are not enough to take care of 250,000 people like last Friday. Okay. Yesterday, it was the number 130,000 Muslims prayed at Al-Aqsa Mosque. I believe that basically the checkpoints, the military checkpoints surrounding Jerusalem did not allow Muslims the freedom to arrive like the Friday before that. And when you have 250,000 people, there are people who are vulnerable, people who are sick, people who might have a stroke, sons, people whom, dehydration, whatever is the case. So our two clinics are not enough. This is why we have a consortium of hospitals, Palestinian hospitals in East Jerusalem, who send their own, medics and, volunteers, and they establish, tents surrounding all the Al-Aqsa Mosque, Haram al-Sharif, to take care of anyone who gets sick. We have engineers, we have lawyers, we have accountants, we have teachers, we have imams, we have muazzin, we have, guards, name it, it comes to 1,000. The Waqf in Jerusalem takes care of around 120 mosques. So it's not only Al-Aqsa Mosque. We have many mosques dotting the old city of Jerusalem, and also within the municipality, like within the walls, the separation wall, really. And the Waqf also takes care of about 50 schools in Jerusalem. It's under the supervision of the Waqf. So it's a massive institution, and thankfully the Jordan does not really spare any effort in supporting the Department of Waqf, supporting Al-Aqsa Mosque, even the Christian holy places, and it goes beyond really the Waqf. So on daily basis, the Waqf takes care of, as I said, all these institutions outside the Aqsa Mosque. But of course, for us, what we see and what we pay attention to usually is Al-Aqsa Mosque, whether it's really the cleanliness, safety, medical teams, but also the big fight is about the politics, about the narrative, about the chipping at the historical status quo. Historical status quo goes back to 1852. It goes back to the Ottoman period, and the meaning is that originally for the Christians it does delineate who's who within the Sepulchre Church. This is why a Muslim family continues to hold the key of the Sepulchre Church every morning. Someone, this family that has the key goes to the Sepulchre Church and opens. There's a monk from inside goes up on a ladder, and so it goes both ways to open the church itself. But of course, for us, at Al-Aqsa Mosque since 1967, the status quo that existed on the eve of the 1967 war continues. So the Waqf continues to take care of the mosque. The Israeli, Israel as an entity that exists, an occupier. It is governed by international law, and their security forces should be outside the mosque, not inside. Everything inside should be under the authority of the Waqf. Of course, since Sharon broke into the mosque with a couple of thousand soldiers and security forces, from that day things began to deteriorate a little bit. So for example, the 2003 Israeli police took it upon themselves to bring people inside the mosque without the consent of the Waqf. And this is why the Waqf continues to ask, to demand that we go back to the status quo ante, basically that which existed until the year 2000, when the Waqf was in full control of the mosque, all the affairs of the mosque.
And we have Syed Agha Ali Raza from Islamic Pulse.
is definitely not a political ploy, right? So I mean, so what does the Islamic Republic have to gain after? So all you have gained and attracted all this enmity, right? What are you gaining in return? Even though I know you've talked about this, but still, I'd like to pose the question directly.
So interestingly, to answer your question, first of all, we've demonstrated that no material worldly benefit has come out of this entire endeavor that the Islamic Revolution has had. And there is no foreseeable worldly benefit as well.
Right.
And at the same time, the Islamic Republic has put all of its eggs into this basket.
Right.
So it's not like a hedged investment that they are like supporting the Palestine resistance and also supporting other resistances in other parts of the world and just trying to create dissent throughout the global scenario. Something that, like, for example, the Soviets used to do in their times. They used to create these
or the Americans,
or the Americans
NATO
do.
and these guys in the
creating
present time.
proxies all over the world without even without ideological affiliation. So no worldly advantage to this point. In fact, a huge, colossal degree of worldly disadvantage.
Sure.
And then no foreseeable worldly advantage as well. No foreseeable worldly advantage as well.
It seems like this itself would show you the sincerity of the Islamic
Exactly,
Revolution.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So if you look at the future, the thing that you can predict from a rational point of view is that the pressure on the Islamic Republic and on the resistance front will only increase.
Sure.
Because obviously the Zionists won't say, oh, okay, we surrender.
Yeah, hands up.
After many millennia of being psychotic psychopaths, we all of a sudden realize the error of our ways, and we are going to we're just going to go into the mountains and pray to God, Allah and become like righteous saints. No, that's not going to happen. They're going to fight to the very end. Like the parable of Fir'aun, of the Pharaoh in the Quran, that even when he saw that Musa was the one, alayhi salam, was the one who had split through God's mercy the sea, he still went into the sea after Musa. What kind of a sane individual would go walk into that trap, right?
I mean, at that point, you should think these are people of God. We should just turn back.
They just turn around
and go back to our own lives.
These people are out of our league.
Yeah.
So just go back.
They're splitting the oceans.
They're
and the
splitting
rivers
the ocean, right? And obviously, they're not splitting it for me. They're splitting it for themselves. So if I go in, they're going to stop. Even if you don't believe in God, you can at least believe in Musa being something supernaturally very capable. But that psychosis, that doesn't just, it does, that psychosis, because there's this element of narcissism in it.
Yeah.
Ana rabbukumul ala, I'm the greatest of all divine beings, right? He can't admit defeat. So the same is true for the Zionists, because this is the same psychology, right?
Yeah.
So they're not going to back off, and they're going to keep increasing pressure upon the Islamic Republic and the resistance front. So no foreseeable worldly benefit in the foreseeable future. So why? Why do this? And we know that they're not irrational people. They're very good at what they at strategizing. So why do this? So the only rational explanation is this: they're doing it because of their faith. They're doing this because of their ideology, because of their Islamic ideology. They're doing this because of their religious duty to God. They're doing this because of their firm worldview that is based on true human values, on Husseini values, where Imam Hussein stands and he says, it doesn't matter if I am if I conquer or not. It doesn't matter whether I am victorious in the worldly manner or not. I will stand on my principles and hayhat min az-zillah. Inna ad-day qad raqazani bayna ithnatayn bayna az-zillati was-zillah wa hayhat min az-zillah. I know that I am standing between zillah, between humiliation and the sword and death and martyrdom. But I know one thing. Imam Hussein, the son of Ali, hayhat min az-zillah. And now you have a son of Ali again. You have a person from the same progeny believing in the same Imam, following the same Imam. Yes. Interestingly, Imam Sayyid Ali Khamenei said, if it comes to a situation that Karbala, that comes to a situation that they are able to somehow attack us, then they should remember that this will be a repeat of Karbala, not of some other event. We will die before we let go. And Sayyidina Nasrullah said this. He said, "Lan natakhalla." Sorry about that. "Lan natakhalla an Palestine abada. Lan natakhalla an Al-Quds abada." Right? You can kill us, you can destroy us, you can bomb our mosques throughout the world, you can put sanctions on us, you can play around with politics and try to push us into a corner. But whatever you do, we're not letting go of Palestine. Because this is our religious duty. This is what our jurists, our foremost Islamic scholars have understood to be the will of God. And they will establish this will of God and will be act according to it, no matter what happens.
And even a humanitarian cause. I think any free-minded, justice-seeking, truth-seeking individual, if they look within themselves, excuse me, even if they're non-Muslims, right? They will be able to see the clarity of the truth, and they will be able to see the reality on the ground and realize that this land should be given back to the Palestinians. And
Absolutely.
That this is something that's in the fitrah of
Absolutely.
these individuals. Even
Absolutely.
If it's,
Anyone looking at this issue from an objective point of view, and in fact I'll kind of explain how an objective point of view is exactly the same Islamic point of view, because there is no differentiation in truth.
And it's subjectivity.
And it's
right?
subjective. There is no subjectivity in truth, right? So, but if someone is not from an Islamic ideology, but is an honest, good, virtuous person, a person that is justice-centric, a person who yearns for justice, they will look at this issue and they say, not only is this the most important issue in the world, but I need to raise my voice. And that is what's happening throughout the world. You have people from different denominations, from different inclinations, all gathering together to support Palestine.
Well,
And Imam Zakzaki of Nigeria on the issue. Therefore, it's good at this time to raise these flags to show that we are with the Palestinian people, showing that we are with them. Showing that we are with them is something that bothers all of us, because the Palestinians who are being killed are fighting on our behalf, on behalf of the entire Muslim community. Because those who want what they want, if they can, they will do it for everyone. And they don't hide it. There is same one as enemy of God, an enemy of the Prophet, who says that the Third World War, anyone who doesn't even say that's coming seems like he doesn't know what he's doing or what's going on. He said he was coming, and at that time he said they will burn the Muslims, they will burn the Arabs. He didn't even hide it, he said. They will burn them to death. That's what he said. And this is Rabbi Yisrael David Weiss for International Quds Day of Neturei Karta.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rabbi Yisrael David Weiss of Neturei Karta International, Jews United Against Zionism. Jews around the world stand in solidarity with the people of Palestine on this International Al-Quds Day, the day that people around the world mourn the occupation of Al-Quds, of Jerusalem. Of course, this is not only Jerusalem, Al-Quds, that we mourn the entire occupation of Palestine. We as Jews want the world to know that Judaism means subservience to God. It means to uphold the Torah. And the Torah expressly forbids to steal and to kill, and to torture, and to harm, and to oppress anybody, certainly not the people of Palestine. The Torah forbids that we are to have a Jewish homeland. Since the destruction of the temple 2,000 years ago, it's expressly forbidden even in an uninhabited land, and certainly not by stealing and killing and oppressing as the Zionists are doing. They've hijacked the name Israel, they've hijacked the Star of David and all our symbols. They made it an ersatz Judaism, it's a false Judaism, and they claim anti-Semitism if you oppose them. This is patently false. On the contrary, Judaism calls for the total removal of this occupation. God should help. This removal should happen speedily and peacefully in our days with a free Palestine. Jews around the world, invariably true to Judaism, oppose this existence of the Zionist state of Israel in its entirety, and we hope and pray to God the speedy end of the Zionist state of Israel. This is Judaism. Today we see the escalation of oppression of the Palestinians and the occupation and entering Al-Aqsa Mosque and so forth, what they're doing to the people in Hebron, and on and on and on, the murder of the Palestinians. This is unacceptable. Judaism cries out and demands that not only should all of this end immediately, and not only this government of Israel, but the entire state of Israel is criminal. Its existence is criminal, and God should help. The world should recognize this, and God, with His compassion, should bring this speedy and peaceful end to the existence of the state of Israel, so we can once again, as Jews, embrace and live with our Palestinian brethren, with the people, the Muslim Arab people, that we should be able to show our gratitude for their embracing us in our times of suffering through the world, and we should be able to serve God in harmony speedily in our days. Amen. Assalamu alaikum.
And from Tel Assur, we have Syria joined its Palestinian brothers in commemorating Al-Quds Day.
As in all the countries of the resistance bloc and the other free countries of the world, the Syrian people joined their Palestinian brothers in commemorating World Al-Quds Day. Let's see.
Thousands of Syrians and Palestinians gathered in Al-Jarmouk camp, south of Damascus, that is considered the capital of the Palestinian diaspora. Different Palestinian factions based in Syria marked the day with a military parade, in a clear message of defiance to the Zionist occupation.
Today's military parade is a demonstration of support for our resistance fighters in the occupied territories, and it's a message that our fighters, together with the Hezbollah fighters from Lebanon, will continue to fight against the Israeli enemy, and we will do it from the Al-Jarmouk camp and the whole geography of Syria.
These young men who were born outside Palestine confirm on this day that they won't forget their homeland and that they will preserve the revolutionary legacy of their ancestors and continue to struggle until Al-Quds is liberated and the occupation expelled from all of Palestine.
Our message today is that we are united in support of our brothers who are stationed in the Al-Quds Mosque and in all of occupied Palestine, and that we will return to our homeland with the confidence of an early victory against the occupation.
The event, organized under the slogan "The West Bank is the Shield of Jerusalem," was attended by leading figures from Syria, Palestinian, and other Arab and foreign countries. These personalities expressed their country's strong support for the just Palestinian cause. They condemned the Zionist regime's policy of geographical and demographic Judaization of Jerusalem.
Today we confirm the readiness of the fighters of the popular mobilization in Iraq to support the brothers in the Palestinian resistance for the defense of the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the liberation of every inch of the Zionist-occupied land, at the top of which is the city of Al-Quds and the occupied Syrian Golan.
We are in the Al-Jarmouk camp here in Damascus on behalf of our government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and in the name of our President Nicolás Maduro Moros, in support, as it has always been on the part of the Bolivarian Revolution, of the Palestinian people and the territory of Palestine occupied by the Zionist entity.
The commemoration of the World Day of Al-Quds in Syria and in other countries of the resistance bloc evidence that the Palestinian people are not alone in the face of the criminal practices of the Israeli occupation. A solidarity that the Palestinians are grateful for strengthens their determination to continue the struggle until the recovery of all their usurped rights.
In Syria, as in all the countries of the resistance bloc,